I caught up with Adam Green and Zach Bove in a break in proceedings at BetterConnectedLive. Perhaps unsurprisingly, our conversation turned on websites and all things digital.
I do think that councils are going to start to take revenue generation very seriously. Councils have got a number of interesting and important positions in the community where they can potentially generate revenue perfectly legitimately and probably to the delight of their local residents.
I spoke a month or so ago to the chief executive of South Staffs, who are about to launch their a new website, which is a hybrid site between a commercial site designed to generate income and an old style public service facing site. The big struggle for them, the big question is, can they maintain a public service, not just the appearance of public service, but a genuine public service remit while making money? How do you do that? It's must be a lot of it's about the content, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're playing catch up with the technology, because the technology itself, as Adam said earlier, the technology has changed so much in the last 15 years. You know, going from not having websites to wanting to being badgered into having websites and all of that. The things that I think people are still playing catch up with the actual state of the technology. So we now have the reins to some very powerful software with a hell of a lot of content, many pages, an awful lot of things to say, and we also have teams that are being built up of people who are quite good at this kind of thing, but they're not necessarily placed in the right positions within larger organizations. And I think that the catch up is actually in culture and in kind of understanding that being able to tell people an awful lot of, giving people access to a huge amount of your own information is quite different from running newsletters and bulletin boards in church gardens. And that's obvious. I mean, saying that sounds ridiculous. It's not like having a website's a new thing in any way, but I still feel like we're playing catch up as a sector. The culture change hasn't quite happened yet.
I agree. I think one particular facet of that is the relationship between digital, which in many councils is sort of new,
Yeah.
and is a separate operation to IT. And for decades, IT have been a really powerful and effective way of delivering, supporting processes that help the council deliver what they want. I see a bit of a disconnect between digital and IT, and I think they need to become much closer together so that when a digital outcome requires a technology solution to underpin it, that's done together as one organisation, where the council acts and uses its tools as to the maximum benefit. And I think sometimes that's not as strong as it could be, and I think that will, I hope, start to pick up in the next few years.
Are we going to get more? Site's going to become much more of a two-way street, so that it becomes a conversation between the citizen and the council. It's interesting. We started this conversation talking about how actually, you know, the citizens want their councils to get up and do something, and you know, take the reins, and the conversation would facilitate that.
Yes, I agree. I think opening up access to data is huge. Just saying that sounds completely. It's too small to say that. It's desperately important. It's important for just a culture of transparency. It's important for accountability, but I think it's also important for innovation. I also think that the technology itself can be improved, because so we provide software which run council websites, and there's various tools and things that can be added on and that work. But I would be much more interested in our own software if we were able to make use of something that a citizen built. I mean, we've done a few things like the marketplace program and various things, but if the councils themselves are actually moving to make that data available and accessible and usable through APIs and through data formats that actually are reusable, I'm really excited by the idea of our software playing a part in that. Some of our councils are massive, they're absolutely huge. There are thousands of people who are capable of writing interesting applications in so many of our councils.
It's true about the writing applications, but it's not just that, isn't it? It's just the involvement and the commitment. If you look at an aircraft carrier now, it has a ski jump at the front. Do you know how this happened? All Royal Navy ships used to have little wooden boxes with a slot in the top with suggestions written on it. And some ordinary aircraftman or some guy who looked after planes on the deck of the aircraft carrier or whatever dropped a piece of paper in saying, why don't we put a ski jump? And now all aircraft carriers have ski jumps at the front. And that was, well, who else would know better than the man who spent his time standing on the deck, watching the planes dip after they got off there, and then zoom and then pick up. If the citizen feels they're part of the project, you're going to have less complainers and more people pushing in the same direction. Sounds naive, doesn't it? But we've got to do it. Somehow we've got
I don't think that's naive at all. I think it's powerful, genuinely. And I think it goes beyond just the suggestion. There are people who are more than capable of building really interesting things, really useful things. And they're the ones, if they're building it to solve their own problems, then chances are it'll probably solve problems of people who are quite similar to them in various ways.
And there we had to leave it. I hope you have enjoyed this head-to-head conversation. I know I have. Thank you for watching.